Namaste. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. So I've been thinking about the four purifications, the practices that Babaji linked together for us to be able to cleanse our entire physical structure and work on the subtle level as well. So the four purifications, which consist of Nadi Shodhan, alternate nasal breath, Kapalabhati, skull shining, Agni Sardoti, fire wash, and Ashwini Mudra, working with the downward flow, horse seal. So today I want us to sort of practice the asanas that support that purification, and then practice the purifications themselves once we've really thought about what we're doing to purify those areas along our spine, okay? So just letting you have my thought process for the class as it unfolds, okay? So finding your comfortable seat, make sure that you're making contact and notice your contact with your cushion or your mat, the floor, the chair, wherever you are to start the practice. Relax your shoulders, let your arms just wiggle for a moment, and then let's go ahead and relax the back of the hands on the legs with the palms up into a posture of receiving, willingness to receive. You can join the index finger and the thumb into Gyan Mudra, Wisdom Mudra. And then without making any changes, just notice the breath for a moment. Just sitting with your eyes open and just noticing your breath. Noticing your surroundings. And then gently letting your eyes take a soft gaze to the floor or closing completely. Let the breath get a little bit deeper. Start with the exhale, pushing a little bit more breath out. So when you inhale, you have a little bit more space for the breath to come in. Not really controlling it, just deepening it, but not counting or holding or any other controls. Just a little bit deeper. Notice the base of the spine, the space below your seat. And follow that all the way up the spine, through and out of the crown of the head. Come from the back of the neck into the brain, right in the middle, and all the way up and out. Just following the path of Sushumna Nadi. The base of the body, Mool, root, and the top of the crown, Chakra, Mool, root. Those two roots that pulled away from each other as the sperm and the egg began creating who you are today. Creating the neural tube, folding in on itself, creating organs. And then slowly bringing your hands into the heart, releasing the mudra, another mudra, Anjali, thumbs touching your sternum, letting your head bow over slightly. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. Special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Haridas. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga and Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So what could you use this morning for a little self-transformation? Let something come into your mind and hold it for a moment. And then let it slip down into your heart space. Letting your chin come up a little bit parallel to the floor. And if you are where you can join me for an Om, exhaling the breath all the way out and a nice inhale to chant. Letting the eyes flutter open, releasing the hands. So if we're thinking for a moment, when we're working with our prana, we're working in this area of our chest. So go ahead and just rest your left hand on the floor. Bring your right arm up. Reach up to the ceiling with the right arm. Reach up, press into the right sit bone. Reach up with the right arm. Get as long as you can on the right side of your body. Now flip your palm to face the left side, thumb behind you. And then bend your left elbow and stretch through the rib cage, creating more space for the air to enter, more space. Feel the compression on the left side, expansion on the right side. And then using the fulcrum of your left elbow, push up, release the right arm, and relax all the way into the right side. Just feeling any difference between left side, right side. And now right hand firmly on the floor. Let's lift up, reach up, palm can face me initially, reaching up all the way from the left sit bone to the left very tips of your fingers. And then flip the palm to face the right side, thumb behind you. And then bending the right elbow, opening and stretching all the way as far as you can over to the right side. No collapsing, just stretching, getting a lot of space in those intercostals, space between your ribs. And then using the fulcrum of your elbow, press up. Good. Let the left hand touch the floor gently. Relax your shoulders. Just relax your hands, arms, shoulders. Let them go. Good. And then think about where your belly button is. And from above the belly button, I want this to happen. So belly button down is forming this soft, stable base. And belly button upward is going to take a twist. Okay, so no twisting in the low back. So take a nice inhale. As you exhale it out, feel yourself grounding down through the pelvic floor. Pubic bone, tailbone, sit bone, sit bone. Good. And on an inhale, let's take a little twist over to the left side. Keep your gaze toward me. Twist with your torso. Your head is already super mobile. And exhale back to the center. Good. Notice the difference side to side. Inhale. Resist against the breath. So we're inhaling on purpose, not collapsing into the twist. And exhale. Return. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Return. And now notice the difference between right side and left side. Belly stays stable. Low back is not in this twist. Inhale over to the right side. Keep gazing out toward me. Keep your face out of the twist. Return. Inhale. Start the breath and then resist with your body as you breathe. Exhale, return. Inhale. And exhale, return. Good. Take the arms up overhead for a moment. And we're going to do a seated cat-cow for just a moment. So bring the arms out in front, shoulder height, knuckles facing me. As you exhale, pull your belly to the spine and reach your arms forward. And as you inhale, come to neutral. And as you exhale, press your belly forward, lift your arms up a little bit, 45-degree angle. And then inhale, back to neutral. So we're only moving on the exhale. Exhale, belly to spine, curl. Inhale, neutral. Exhale. Belly pushes forward, you roll over towards your pubic bone, and inhale, back to neutral. One more. Exhale, curl, curl, belly moving back behind you. And inhale, neutral. And exhale, tilt forward, let your pubic bone go down closer to the floor, arms up at a 45-degree angle, and inhale, back into neutral. Good, and then relax your arms for a moment. Just relaxing the arms. Great. And then now just with your head for a moment, thinking about that upward flow of energy, just taking your head over to the left side, just the head and the face to the left side, shoulders are soft, moving down the body. Inhale back to neutral. Good. And then take your face over to the right side. Notice if it goes as far on either side or if you have a little stop on one side or the other. Good. And then back to neutral. And then we're coming into our table pose, our stable table, Chatushpadasana, 4-legged pose. So let your forelegs be super stable. Hands are underneath your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Your hands are in front of your shoulders. So big fingers spread far. Good. And let's start with pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Tops of the feet pressed firmly into the mat as far as you can. If you have a big space there, no big deal. Still press them down. Toes are pointed. Okay. So we're going to start here. And then with our exhale, we're going to curl the toes under, spine curling. Look at your belly button. Inhale, neutral. And then exhale, lay the feet out, press into the top of the feet, look forward. Don't look too far up. Don't throw your head way back. And come into neutral. Good. Exhale. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, lay the feet out, point the toes. And inhale, neutral. Exhale, curl the toes under, press. Inhale, neutral. Roll the feet out, looking forward. And inhale, neutral. One more. Exhale. Inhale, neutral. Exhale. And inhale, neutral. So we're going to do a pose, rabbit, that has an effect on the head region, on our area that we work with, Udana, that we work with, that upward flow, our Kapalabhati practice. It is an inversion. So if you're not inverting, I'm going to suggest that you just go back like this and just touch your forehead to the floor and stay there. So if you're on your menstrual cycle, if you have glaucoma or eye pressure problems or uncontrolled blood pressure, you can always make a little pillow with your arms and just rest your forehead, but no big inversion. The rest of us, we're going to come back with our shoulders underneath, our wrists underneath our shoulders. Good. And then you're going to take your forearms back. Elbows are right behind your wrist. And then we're going to curl on an exhale and touch the crown of the head toward the floor. And inhale, neutral. We're going to do the touch 3 or 4 times. You may need to spread your arms further apart. Just decide where you are. But elbows and wrists are completely in line. They are parallel to your mat on either side. Okay? So take an inhale, just looking forward. Exhale, curl the body. Touch the crown of the head to the floor. And inhale, come back to neutral, look forward. Exhale, curl the body, make it as arch as you can. Crown of the head toward the floor. And inhale, looking forward. Exhale. And inhale, looking forward. Now this time we're going to stay for 3 breaths if that feels comfortable for you. Remember, you can always take your hips back to your heels, make a pillow with your arms, and rest. So making either choice. Coming back up if you're going to go with me. Okay, looking forward. When you're looking forward, you have your low back curve. Everything is even. Tops of the feet are on the floor. Toes are pointed. And then as we curl, press the tops of the feet further into the floor. Curl the chin into the chest, round the spine. Rest the crown of the head on the floor. Taking a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, gazing out in front. Come up onto the arms and hands again. Good. So find yourself with your natural low back curve. Relax your quads. They really will tighten up for what you just did. So relax your quads. Good. So spread your fingers wide. Get as much of a right angle as you can between your thumb and your index finger. Excellent. Okay. So then stepping your left foot back, press through the heel. Ball of the foot is making the pressure into the floor. Good. Just make that long line of energy as much as you can. You can gaze at the floor if possible. And then release the left leg. And then curl the toes under of the right leg, reach back, press through the heel. Really engage the quadricep, press through the heel. Keep the knee gentle, not just locked out. Good, and then relax. So we're gonna make a little bit of an impression in our mid body, okay? So we're gonna really use our core of the body. So strong spine with all of its natural curves for a moment. So gaze at the floor. Relax your belly for a moment. So just notice how that'll tilt your pubic bone, tilt your tailbone, pelvic basket tilts forward. And then let's bring the belly back a little bit, but don't lose the curve. So pull the belly in as much as you can. Belly is pulled in. And then reaching your left leg back, right leg back to meet it. Press into the floor, spread the space between your shoulder blades. Both knees to touch. And you'll see you have a lot more space now between the arms and the legs, okay? Because we just went straight back and dropped the knees right where they were, okay? Looking at the floor, taking your spine nice and long, press into the hands, take an inhale, exhale, belly to spine, and lift. Inhale, get long in the spine, and exhale, release. Good, we're gonna do one more. Take a nice inhale. Let's just exhale where you are. Inhale. And exhale, lift, press through the heels. Heels are active, belly's pulled into spine, pelvic floor is lifted. Breathe. And on your next exhale, drop to your knees, take your hips back to your heels and sitting up in Vajrasan, Thunderbolt pose. Relax your arms. Let's make some nice circles with our wrist. Big circles, both directions. And then as if you were reaching your fingertips into a big brown bear, just dig in, reach into that fur, just really moving the fingers. Good. And then interlace the fingers and make figure eights. So one direction and then the other. Good. And then both arms just pressing up for a moment. Let your shoulders reach down away from you. Pull in your belly. Keep the belly engaged. Good. And then releasing the arms for a moment. Just let the back of the hands be on your legs, palms facing up again. Good. And then just coming up onto your knees. Great. Curl the toes under. We're going to go up. We're going to stand. Come all the way up and see if you can stay on the balls of the feet for just a moment and then relax down. Okay. So we're going to work a little bit with both sides of the body. Ida, our left side, the lunar side, the softer side. Pingala, the right side, the stronger side, the solar side. So when we do Nadi Shodhana, we are balancing those two sides. When we do asana on either side, we're balancing those two sides. So let's get nice and big in our stance for a moment. Good. And then externally rotate the left leg. I took your belly button a little bit out to the left. Good. Bend the knee, arms up, gazing out. Reach back with your right arm for a minute. Reach back a lot. Keep that front knee bent, but reach back. Good. And then flip both palms up toward the ceiling. And then come over with your left arm as if you were going to touch your right arm. Come back into warrior two, palms facing down. Straighten the leg and come back up. Good. Hands to the heart. Bend the knee slightly, unrotate. Good. You may need to kick out your left heel a little bit more than you have it. Externally rotate the right leg. Okay, bend the knee, arms up. Good, get really long. Gaze out over your right fingertips. Flip the palms. And then reach back with your right arm only as if you were going to touch the left. You don't have to touch, just as if you were going to. Come back into warrior two. Pull in your belly, take an inhale. And as you exhale, straighten the leg, arms up overhead. Inhale, get tall, and exhale, hands into your heart. Unrotate the right leg. Good. So let's do one more of rotation to one side, okay? So externally rotate the left leg. Go ahead and lean, find your diagonal line. You can reach up with your left arm so you're nice and strong. Hip is in, everything is in. You're in Tadasana over your externally rotated left leg, okay? Now you can just rest your left arm. Just rest for a moment. So you have that long line of energy. Then bending your left knee. Don't take the knee out past the ankle. Wherever you are is perfect. Lift up in the pelvic floor. Lift up in the belly. Go ahead and extend that left arm up toward the ceiling. Just keep your right arm on your hip. Pelvic floor is lifted. Everything's lifted. Good. And then again, release the left arm. Let it hang like a pendulum. And then slowly straighten the left leg. Good. Don't collapse. And the right arm is just resting on your hip. Take an inhale and exhale to standing. Bend the knee, unrotate. Let's rotate over on to the right side. Kick your left heel out a little. Lift the pelvic floor. Keep the belly engaged. Everything is working. And now working the other side, the solar side, okay? Lean until you get that diagonal line all the way left foot up through your right arm. Good, just go ahead and rest your other arm somewhere on your hip or leg. Good, breathe. Keep pushing into the left foot, reaching out through the right arm. Keep that whole right side broad, open. Good. And then we're going to bend the knee. Don't take the knee past the ankle. Do whatever you need to do not to take the knee past the ankle. Keep the right side long and release the arm like a pendulum. Good. Just reaching. Breathe. Press through the left foot. Pull in the pelvic floor. Keep your belly engaged. Great. And then straighten the right leg. Breathe. Your right arm is just hanging in traction. Don't let your right side collapse toward the floor. Take a nice inhale. And we're going to exhale back to a bent leg, a little bit easier, and then come up. Good. Unrotate. Come back together. Good. And just finding ourselves in Tadasana. So take your Tadasana for a couple of breaths where you find your balance. Throw your weight to the front of your feet, then to the back of the feet. Over to the left and then over to the right. Throw your weight around a little bit until you find a happy medium where you really feel you've distributed the weight between both feet, both sides. Good. Peel up the left heel. Just peel up the heel, nothing else. Engage the whole right side. Really pull in the right hip. Engage the buttocks. So just keep that side stable, but no rotation. So keeping it nice and stable. And then we're going to use the left glute to rotate. So the left leg is rotated. Right leg is stable in Tadasana. Good. And let your arms float out to the side and then all the way up overhead. Good. Go ahead and hold on to your right wrist with your left hand. Just hold on for a moment. And then let yourself lean and expand a little bit. But don't sink out the right hip. Right hip stays in. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, get long again. Pull in the belly, pull in the pelvic floor. Lower the arm. And release the rotation. Good. And then again, stable on both feet so that the whole body is stable and in Tadasana. And the only thing we're going to move is peeling off the right heel. Good, really hold the left side in. Everything is held into that side. Then externally rotate the left leg. You can kickstand it. You can always place it against the ankle too, but just never against the knee. Whole side is in, arms floating out and up, all the way up. And then holding onto your left wrist with your right fingers, coming over to the right side. Don't sink into that left hip. Don't push it out. It needs to stay in and engaged. Good. And then exhale up. Release the arms. Good. And then undo the leg and just find Tadasana. Close your eyes and take a few breaths. Just a few breaths. We're going to head down into a squat for a moment. So just preparing yourself. Go ahead and taking your feet wherever you need your feet and your knees to be in the same direction. And then slowly lowering yourself down and stimulating that downward flow, apana, where we work with our Ashwini mudra in the Four Purifications. So just stimulating the downward flow. Relax your back. You can put your hands just gently on the floor. Your knees are somewhere close to your armpits. Relax your chin. Let the back of the neck be soft. For those of you who love Vajrasan, crow pose, you're welcome to do it here because it requires a lot of good strength at the area of Agni Sardoti in the belly region. So you can play with me for a moment if you'd like. The hands are big, big, big hands. I'm going to shift my weight up onto the ball of my foot and place my knees behind my armpits, on the upper arm, behind my armpits. And then lift my hips and really pull in my belly. Belly pulls in, looking forward, not down, as you shift the weight and decide how you want to come up into your crow. It's just playing, no big deal. Nobody cares. But it really requires belly up, in, and weight balancing. Good. And then come back down. Come back into your squat. Go ahead and walk your feet out a little bit wider. See if you can get the whole foot down and the knee in the same direction. And again, pelvic floor, softening down. Go ahead and let your head curl. Good. And then peel the chin off, get your hands back behind you, and slowly lower yourself to the floor. So your sit bones are firmly on the floor. You can stretch your legs out in front into Dandasana and sit up on the whole of the pelvic floor. So be aware of pubic bone, tailbone, sit bone, that little diamond you have created below you, and let that be the focus of your seat. Good. So stimulating the lower part of the body, the Ashwini, it stimulates the downward flow of energy, creating good function in our elimination and menstruation, anything moving out and down out of the body, helping that to rebalance and hopefully stay balanced. Good. So just pressing through the heels. Knees have lifted off a little bit. The knees are not on the floor. Don't press your knees down into the floor. That implies hyperextension. If your feet are off the floor, put them firmly on the floor, bend your knees slightly. Good. And then to get a little bit more pressure into that area, we're going to take the soles of the feet together into Vajrasan, mobility. Soles of the feet together. And now you're sitting up on that diamond. Hold on to your shins or feet or legs or wherever you want to hold on. but a tall spine. Find a little bit of your lumbar curve. So it's going to be tilting your pubic bone toward the floor a little more. Lift up, belly in. Good. Breathe. Excellent. And then pull your right heel into your body a little bit more. Right heel into the body. And then your left leg, take it back in the other direction. So that puts you over onto your right sit bone. That's fine for a minute. So you're just over on your right sit bone, left sit bone's in the air. Good. And you're leaning into your right arm. You're going to sweep and come up for a moment. Just come up and open heart and everything for a moment. Getting expansive. And come back down. Little bit of pressure over onto the right sit bone. And then bring the soles of the feet together again. Take your time, slowly. And then bring the left heel into the groin, right into the groin. The right leg, take it back into internal rotation. Rock over onto your left sit bone. Go ahead and rest your left hand down on the floor. And then you're going to sweep up. Good. Just open heart, chest, body, shoulder, whatever you can open toward the floor. And then slowly coming back down. Recalibrating. Good. And then again, the soles of the feet together. This time, press them away. Make a really nice sized diamond. Really feel yourself balanced on that triangle. Good. And then we're going to make our way slowly to the floor. So today we started with that inversion, Shashangasana, rabbit pose. So we're not going to invert. We're going to go to the floor. We're going to take a short Shavasana. We're going to come back. We're going to do the 4 purifications, those practices that aid us in purifying body, mind, soul. Okay. So for now, finding your Shavasana, just take your time. You've done enough for today. Pull your belly in. We're going to do a lot more when we do the 4 purifications. So coming on. Good. So finding your Shavasana, just stretching out. Think about being a starfish rather than stuck on a mat. Let your arms and legs go off the mat as long as it's not cold off your mat. If you have on glasses, this is the time to take them off so that you can rest even the bridge of your nose. Notice how your body feels. Notice the quality of the breath. The quality of your thoughts. Slowly and gently bringing your awareness into the breath, finding it in the body, the belly or the chest. Beginning to make some movement in the body, bringing in the 5 elements, just noticing body, breath, mind. Senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing, just noticing, noticing, noticing. Making your way gently over to embryo pose. Take your time, make any adjustments you need. Curling yourself up, all safe and secure. And then very consciously letting your head be the last thing to come up. So tuck the chin into the chest, press the upper arm into the floor, upper hand into the floor, begin to spiral up, and ultimately peel your chin off your chest and stack your head on your spine. Good. So this morning, we're going to go into the 4 purifications, okay? And I think I'm going to take the moment to lower the camera a little bit so you can actually see what's happening. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So the 4 purifications, as I talked at the beginning, as I said, Nadi Shodan, working on all of our prana vayu and the brain. It's important to realize as the prana comes in, it nourishes not only what's coming in with the breath, but also the brain. So the mind is nourished by all of prana as well. Okay. Udana, that upward flow, up and out, speaking, spitting, vomiting, singing, everything up and out. And then our fire in our belly region, that unchanging air coming there, and then that downward flow. And then by working with all of these, we're working with that Vyan, that wonderful circulatory process in our body. So we used asana today to support the physical practice, to support our body in the physical aspect of these practices, these purifications. But they also have very subtle differences that we notice in our practice as we begin these. So Babaji would say these 4 practices set the table for your meditation or for your sitting and being for just a moment. They can also just be done as a practice themselves, or they can be done before meditation, before asana, before anything. So they're very purificatory, all right? So the first is Nadi Shodan, and most people do know that if they practice any yoga as alternate nasal breath. The words don't mean that. The words mean Nadi, which is chi, or the energy of the body, Shodana, which means cleansing. So cleansing and balancing the Ida Pingala, the left and the right, the solar, the lunar, the whole of you, bringing that into balance with Nadi Shodana. Uses a full yogic breath, which implies that the inhale starts in the belly and moves up into the chest. 2-part inhale with a slow, gentle exhalation. We use our right hand, so I'm not mirroring you for this. You use your right hand and tuck in the index finger and the middle finger. Use your thumb for your left nostril and your ring, and your thumb for your right nostril and your ring finger for your left nostril. Okay. You can also place those 2 fingers right here at the 3rd eye and still manipulate the nostrils. Either way that feels okay to you, okay? So I'll walk us through a round or 2. If you don't understand yogic breath, it doesn't matter. We'll do that later. For now, just breathe, okay? So I'll walk you through a round or 2, and then you'll do it on your own for another few minutes because I want you to feel the effect. If your arm gets tired, just support it with your other hand, support the elbow. Don't press the chest in and impinge your capacity, and don't pull the arm up because you'll get tired really quickly. So find a comfortable place for your arm. Let your elbow be soft. Good. So get your hands ready so you know it's there. Exhaling the breath all the way out. Closing off the right nostril. Inhale left, belly, chest. Top of the inhale, a slight pause, switch fingers, exhale right. Slight pause at the bottom of the exhale, inhale right, belly, chest. Top of the inhale, slight pause, switch fingers, exhale, left. That makes one round. Inhaling left. Top of the inhale, switch fingers, exhale right. Slight pause, inhale right. Top of the inhale, switch fingers and exhale left. Round two. Keep going at your own pace for the next 3 minutes. Exhaling the breath. If you get lost, no big deal. Just remember the horseshoe. Take the time to complete the round that you're on, which will mean an exhale out the left nostril. And then sitting for a moment, just feeling the effects of the practice. Body, breath, mind. On an inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Our next practice, Kapalabhati, skull shining, working with that upward flow of energy. So it's a forced exhalation followed by a natural inhalation every single time. So you would never run out of breath, okay? You could just go and go and go. You would never do more than you can do in in a series in 1 minute. You can do 1 minute, however many you do, pause, take a couple of catch breaths, and do another minute, and then another minute. But you would never do more than a minute. I'm going to do it super slow motion for a moment. So if you have a Kleenex, you might want to make sure there's nothing to surprise you there, okay? So I'm going to exhale the breath out. It's a chest breath, basically, look here, low into the chest. My abdomen moves every single time, but I'm not pulling and tugging my abdomen. I'm just letting my abdomen move as the diaphragm moves, okay? So I'm going to start with exhaling the breath all the way out. I'll inhale to about 75, 80%, and then begin in slow motion. You can see my chest is filling each time. My shoulders are not moving. My belly bounces, okay? I'm going to do it in a regular pace that I'd like for you to think about. I did 16. So you can see what feels comfortable for you. We'll count 1 minute and just keep going, okay? So take a nice inhale, exhaling the breath all the way out, belly to spine. Inhale in about 75, 80%, and begin. That was 30 seconds. Try that on for size. Pause and just see how you feel. Body, breath, mind. Close your eyes. Just sink into it. I want your head to feel as if you were vacuumed out. Letting your eyes flutter open. So if that felt okay, let's do one more round. Again, just 30 seconds. That's plenty of time for us if we're beginning. If this is part of your practice, do as you please for as long as you please, okay? But never more than a minute at a time. Exhaling the breath out. Coming in 75, 80%, and then begin. Thirty seconds. Pause, see how you feel. Body, breath, mind. Use an inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. The next practice, Agni Saradoti fire wash. Using your abdominal muscles, the rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis, the one that wraps like a belt all the way around you, to pull the belly in and release it, pull it, release it, pull it, release it. There's no breath, so we exhale the breath all the way out so that we have plenty of space without our diaphragm pressing down into the belly. So we exhale the breath all the way out, we pull and release, pull and release, pull and release. Releasing is the hard part. You can always do this standing. It may be a little bit easier for you to just stand, lean over, pull your belly in, and then release, pull. Just rhythmically releasing and pulling every time. If you want to do it seated, that's also fine. Still using those muscles with no breath in the body, okay? You'll hinge over a little at the hip, but poke your bottom out a little bit. So you roll over towards your pubic bone. Good. Belly's out and free. The breath is exhaled out. So remember to exhale the breath out, belly to spine, release, pull. Rhythmically. No more than you can do with that comfortable exhaled out breath. As soon as you need to inhale, just come right on up, take your breath, pause. So if you were pregnant, you would do that super gentle thinking about hugging the baby, releasing the baby, hugging the baby, just super sweet and gentle. All of us, I want to think about the breath and the muscles and everything being like a baby. So not just shoving it in, pull it, release it, pull it, release it, massaging the organs. If you have a hiatal hernia or an active ulcer, this is not the practice for you. If you're super pitta, one's probably plenty, okay? All right, ready? So take a nice inhale as you're sitting up. As you exhale, hinge over a little bit at the hip region. Bottom of the exhale, belly to spine. Release, pull. Rhythmically. As soon as you need to take an inhale, don't have to gulp it. Just come back on up and take your breath. Good. That's probably plenty for today. The last purification, Ashwini Mudra. So for this purification, we are isolating, hopefully one day, the anal sphincter. We're tightening it, releasing it, tightening it, releasing it, as if you're not going to have a bowel movement and then let it go. Not have a bowel movement, let it go, okay? So massaging that area. Babaji explained it like a plunger. So you've got a plunger on the toilet, pulling, 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 and then the vacuum, and it all just goes out and down. So visualize that in your head. Visualize pulling into the anal sphincter. And then when you actually release the breath, it goes down. So here we hold the breath, but we're not holding the breath up here. We're holding the breath right here in our solar plexus. So we take in a small breath, and again, like a baby, hold it gently. And then pull, contract and release the anal sphincter rhythmically. And then when you need to release the breath, just softly let the breath go and the contractions go, okay? So horse seal, Ashwini Mudra. We'll do it together, we'll do one together, and then you can do another if you like, okay? So active hemorrhoids would be the only contraindication, all righty? So exhaling the breath all the way out. Take in a small inhale, hold it low, down at the solar plexus. Squeeze, release the anal sphincter. If you can't isolate, no big deal. It took me years. The whole pelvic floor moved and my gluteus and everything. Squeezing and releasing evenly. And whenever you need to let the breath go without a big puff, just let the breath go gently with the last contraction. Good. And then consider one more, if you would. Exhaling the breath out. Inhale, nice little small inhale, held down here low at the solar plexus. Control, contract, release, contract, release. Gently, gently. When you need to let the breath go, let it go gently with the last contraction, and just sit for a moment and notice the effects of the practice. Sliding us right into meditation. Bringing your awareness to those two mools, those two roots, the base of the spine and the crown of the head. Imagining, if you will, a line of white light between the base of the spine and the crown of the head. A filament like a light bulb. And it begins to fill the body and beyond until you are a globe of purified white light. Breathe gently, soft, uncontrolled breath. Just imagining your divine white light, purified body, breath, mind. As the mind wanders, bring it back to the globe of light that you are. Pure light. Imagining the globe of light levitating just a smidgen above the floor, holding you completely. The sounds in the background, letting them work to sink you in deeper. And imagining the light, the glow beginning to settle back down into the floor. And slowly, gently beginning to watch the light recede to a filament from below your tailbone to the crown of the head. Always there for purification. Always present for healing and transformation. Releasing your meditation, bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali. Any merit we may have earned this morning, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Bringing your awareness into yourself. What would you like this morning for transformation? Letting that thought slip from your mind down into your heart and symbolically from your heart into the palms of your hands, and then let's lift it up and just let it go off into the universe. Bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you. Alrighty, let me fix the camera so you can see me and I can see you. Let me fix so you can speak. Alrighty. Now participants can unmute themselves, and now let me go back into gallery so I can see you all. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Nice to have you here. Hi, Manjula. Nice to have you. Nice. Okay. How is everyone this morning? How's it going? Sylvia, is it cold where you are?
Probably it's not that cold, but I am freezing. My hands are so cold. My husband is around just in t-shirt, but
that dawn value, that circulatory value, you have to get up and shake, shake, shake. Yeah. All right, so nice to see everybody. Any questions about the four purifications? Because today I really wanted to think about the whole of the purification that happens in the body and how asana grew out of that. I want us to sort of recognize that historically, I think the teacher said, sit and meditate, and they couldn't. And so he or she gave them some breathing practices. And okay, that was better, but they still didn't get very much of a meditation. And then they gave them mudra and mantra and finally asana, and like all of these things that are supports for us to be able to breathe comfortably and have a good meditation. So I just wanted us to see that the purification really happens in asana, because which is why I encourage all of us, regardless of age or anything, to continue with asana, because it keeps our body supple. Babaji said this body is our boat crossing the river to enlightenment. And if you have a hole in the boat, you need to stop and fix the hole. So working on our boat, trying to keep it flexible and trying to keep it ready for purification. Used to asana, when you read some of the old tantra texts that are talking about asana, they call it tapas, which means withstanding, with holding through something. That's like plank pose for me. 5 minutes of plank pose, that is a tapas. I have to withstand that, right? So an asana can be something that's relaxing. Like for me now, being in mountain pose, often called downward facing dog, being in that pose for 5 minutes is super relaxing. And my spine just hangs in traction and I feel so delicious there. But I can remember when 1 minute was pure torture. So, it's all relative. What is one's tapas and what is one's enjoyment, right? Our desires that are to feel that way. So just remember that asana supports our meditation practice, and our meditation supports our asana, and our asana supports our meditation practice and our pranayama practice and our practice of mudra, because you need flexibility for mudra, right? So, and probably mantra, because if we do udana, work with that upward flowing, that's our singing, right? Our speaking and singing and chanting, all of that comes from purifying the whole of the throat and the neck region and into the head region. Yeah. So any questions about anything we did today?
I have a question.
Yes, dear.
My question is on the alternate breathing. What's the reason for the pause at the top and the bottom of the breath?
It's not really, it's just to switch fingers on one and then to just do a conscious inhale. There's no it's like a second pause. It's not like even a pause. It's like a second between, oh, I'm inhaling. Oh, now I'm exhaling. Oh, no, I'm exhaling. Now I'm inhaling. Yeah.
Just to switch over.
Just to switch over. There's no pause. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
There is a practice that uses that same patterning, and it's called Sahit Kumbhaka. And it's a practice with breath retention, where you are going to inhale for a count of whatever it is. It's 2 to 4, no, 2 to 1 to 4 to 2. So if you're going to inhale for 4, you're going to hold for 16, you're going to exhale for 8. And then you bring in and inhale 4, hold for 16, exhale 8. So it's 1, 4, 2. So whatever that is what happens, right? So that's a practice that has retention and everything. But that's the one that's most often referred to in the yogic text, in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. There's not a lot about some of the simpler practices. They were just taken for granted, that people knew them. But it does it mentions doing the nadi shodhana, cleansing it, but then what it explains is sahit kumbhaka, doing it with retention.
And how is there? So 1, 4, 2, and the back is what? 1, 4, 2.
Yeah.
1, 4, 2.
Yeah, but so if it's whatever it is, it's 1 time, then 4 times it, and then 2 times it. So if you inhale for 4 counts, you hold for 16 counts, and you exhale for 8 counts. And then you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 16 counts, exhale for 8 counts. And when you're holding, you're applying usually the locks, right? You're applying all 3 of the bandhas, the Mula, Jalandhar, and Udyan bandhas are being held. Yeah. So, but that's an advanced practice, and so those of you who've studied with me at Mount Madonna, if you haven't done the 300, it waits for you there. Yeah, Sylvia.
About the pelvic floor, like when we were in triangle pose here, and you say, okay, lift up the pelvic floor. To me, it's easy to lift it up in the inhale, but keeping it lifted what I'm exhaling is not that easy. But are we supposed to keep it up?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You keep the pelvic floor engaged as well as the belly engaged. And that's also not easy that's not easy to do on an inhale, to keep the belly engaged, because the diaphragm wants to either press down into the belly or spread to the side. So that's why I'm always encouraging us to use that sports bra analogy of where the breath's going in. So you actually can keep your belly in and keep your pelvic floor engaged, because that's what's protecting your low back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anything else?
Just sort of a practical question about the purifications. Do you have any recommendations around doing that if you're congested?
I do Agni Sardoti first when I'm congested, the fire wash, because sometimes that will clear up what's happening. So I'll sometimes do a couple of rounds of Agni Sardoti before I ever even sit down to get started. And I do them standing up that way because I'm really using them as a power fire to see if I can fire up and melt some of that mucus. Otherwise, and then it's best not to do them because it's too much force into that area, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Anything else?
I had a question from a student that I didn't feel like I had a good answer for. We had our legs out wide, and I said, okay, bring your feet in, heel toe, heel toe. And at the end, he said, well, why would I do that as opposed to just rocking myself back and forth? And what I said was, it gave you more, it allowed you to control the internal and external rotation of your femur, so you would be doing that, because that seemed reasonable to me. But I didn't know if there was another reason to heel toe as opposed to just sort of bringing it in.
No, just basically it's easier on the knees than people who jump in and torque their knee, because I find that if you actually heel toe, you take the whole knee and everything with you. So I do it for knee health. And that's also why I don't encourage jumping for knee health, because a lot of people don't even know that their knee is bad until it's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't really encourage a lot of jumping back or jumping anywhere, especially since I can't see the person and know if they're really strong. Or we got a lot of those little flexy people that can flex and go, and they're jump back and they're right into their joints. There's just a lot of impact on ankles, knees, hips, everything. And they have no strength. They're just flexible. And so that's so detrimental when they get to be my age. It's like, you wish you didn't do it. Like, right. I have a lot of noise in my knees for that particular reason. Wish somebody had
Okay.
told me that when I was younger, right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay, well, it's really nice to spend time with you. Now, remember next week on Tuesday, it stays at 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock for those of you in California. Is there anybody here from Guatemala? Only Alfredo? Anybody else from Guatemala right now? No, because then for us, it's 9 a.m. Okay. And then on Thursday of next week, 1 week from now, if you guys want to do it there, I'm sorry to tell you, it's 6 a.m. And if there's very few people, I may go back to Spanish on Thursday mornings. I may go back and do a Spanish class on Thursday mornings. So Thursday mornings, if you're in California, it's going to be 6 a.m. and Tuesdays will stay the same at 7 a.m. I'm going to move it here for my Guatemalans. For Guatemala, it'll be 9 on Tuesday and a regular 8 on Thursday. Okay.
Can I do a quick announcement?
Yeah. Oh, yes, Sylvia. Uh-huh.
I am going to start a meditation class in Spanish on Wednesdays. Every Wednesdays, 8 a.m. California. So if someone is interested, I don't know.
Put your email in the chat so that they can look at it. Pretty please. Hi, Patty. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. I missed you.
Well, I missed you. Okay, so you see Sylvia has her SISUARE. I'm sorry.
S-U-S-A,
Uh-huh.
what is it? S-U-S?
SISUARI at yahoo.com. 8 a.m. And but so if you'll send it to her, she'll send you, give her your email, she'll send you the flyer she did. Yeah, it's really nice. Gracias, Alfredo. Ya se fue. Okay. All right, so Nayana, you stick around. You and I are going to visit for just a second so you can catch me up. And everybody else, it was lovely to see you. Okay, much love. Have a wonderful day. Take good care of
Jean, you're
yourself.
muted. Jean, you're muted.
I'm muted?
Can we see the chat after the
Jean.
class is over? I don't have a pen. I have nothing to write down that email with. Is it
No,
S-
once class is over, you can't. So
Okay,
it's
S-I-S, I have to remember it. I can't write on my mask. It won't take it.
SISUARI.
You can you could
What's
do
yours, Jean? What's your email, Jean?
STARDILLON at Gmail.
DI
LLON. Star
LLL.
Dillon.
At
Star
Gmail.
Dillon.
at
Gmail.
Gmail.com.
STARDILLAN at
Oh,
Gmail.
yeah.
O-N.
O-N.
Like her last name.
Perfect.
Dion.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay,
Bueno.
everybody. Really nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Have a
Thank
great
you.
one. Ciao.